On everybody, it's Jet Central coming back with another video, and I figured I'm going to make a video talking about the future of the head coaching role for the New York Jets. Because you look at Jets fans on Twitter, there's a ton of Jets fans on Twitter, and you look at, if you go back and you check out my comment section in some of my videos, a ton of Jets fans are very, very unhappy with the performance that Todd Bowles has displayed over these past few weeks and all of last season. So it's not sit well with a lot of Jets fans. It really has not. He's made a lot of questionable decisions, that I'll get into in a second. But I figured I'm going to make a video talking about three possible head coaching or head coaches that could take over the New York Jets in the 2018 season, because I really don't think Todd Bowles lasts the whole 2017 season, and I really don't think he's going to be the coach next season. I just don't. I mean, he's had a lot of things that make Jets fans scratch their head. Number one, starting Josh McCown over Bryce Petty and Christian Hackenberg. We have a young team. We have to see what we have in the young guys. Bryce Petty even earned the spot, I believe, but yet we start Josh McCown, and that did not sit well with a lot of fans. The clock management, number two, is just absolutely horrendous. Why do we use timeouts when we don't need to? And when we need to use timeouts, we either A, don't use them, or B, don't have them because we've wasted them in the first quarter or second quarter or so forth and so on. The clock management for the New York Jets is horrible. Running it when we need to stop the clock, it's just so bad. I've been saying it since 2015. We cannot control the clock, and I don't understand it. I really don't. I think at this point, Todd Bowles just needs to hire somebody, not even a coach, not even an ex-player or anything like that. Doesn't even have to have in-game experience, just somebody that understands the game of football, just to control the clock. He's the person that calls timeouts. He's the person that understands the game. I mean, it's unrealistic, but you guys know what I'm saying. It's so frustrating to see the New York Jets wasting timeouts with 12 minutes in the first quarter, or looking so confused and having to burn our timeouts early in the third quarter so we don't have any in the fourth. Or when we do have timeouts in the fourth, we don't even use them. We're just going down the field so nonchalant. It's so aggravating as a Jet fan. Another thing I want to bring up is the play calling. Why is the play calling so conservative? I don't understand it. We have such a young team. Let's open up the bag of tricks. Let's see what we got. Let's maybe go for it on fourth down if we're losing late in the game, as opposed to punting. The play calling has always been a big question mark when it comes to Todd Bowles, and John Morton is not looking like it's going to change anything. So the play calling is another question mark that's really not sitting well with Jets fans. And I think the number one thing that has been bothering Jets fans for quite some time with Todd Bowles is his lack of, just so nonchalant on the sidelines. There's such a lack of urgency when it comes to Bowles just standing there on the sideline. There seems to be no emotion, no explosion from him. Usually, I mean, with Rex, he'd explode too much, just snap on everybody. Or if we score one time, he's like celebrating so much that he almost forgot about the next drive, where he's like forgetting what's going on. That's too bad. But Todd Bowles, it just seems like it's just so level-headed. Whether the Jets are amazing or the Jets are horrible, it's just no big deal. And that really does not sit well with Jets fans. I know I've talked to a whole bunch over Twitter and in person, and that just really pisses off Jets fans. It really does. We could just be performing so bad, and just there's not one peep out of the coaching staff. So that really irritates Jets fans. And I really don't think Bowles makes it out of this 2017 season, let alone do I think he's the head coach of the 2018 Jets. I don't see it happening. Not to mention, we haven't been able to develop a quarterback. And me personally, I would not trust us getting another young quarterback and just having Todd Bowles and co. develop them. He couldn't do it with Hackenberg. He couldn't do it with Bryce Petty. Two young quarterbacks with a lot of upside. So I don't trust that coaching staff to develop another young quarterback. So it makes you scratch your head and it makes you think, who's going to be the New York Jets head coach of the 2018 season if Bowles gets cut, or if Bowles, if the Jets part ways with Todd Bowles? And, before I get into my three potential head coach replacements, I do want to mention that it is 15 games. The reason why I love football, a lot of stuff can happen in 15 games. We might not win every single game. We might not even win 5 more games. But I just want to see some competitiveness. I want to see us flying around. I want to see us like we actually want to be there. Not like we're forced to, or not like we're just playing for a paycheck here. Look at the Cleveland Browns and look at how they play. They play fast. They play aggressive. They play with pride. And they took the Pittsburgh Steelers to the brink. In fact, if the Browns didn't screw up that punt and the Steelers didn't block that punt, the Browns probably would have came out on top in that game. So that's what I want to see from the New York Jets. So now that I've kind of talked a little bit about Todd Bowles, I want to get into 3 coaching replacements for him for the 2018 season, because everyone, the media and stuff, everyone wants to talk crap about the Jets. Oh, we suck, whatever. I've been hearing it all my life from the same people. But the New York Jets GM and head coaching job are going to be pretty luxurious, if you will. A ton of money in cap space. A ton of money in cap space. We're projected to have $70 to $80 million in cap space. Are you kidding me? That is an insane amount of space that we can just start blowing cash. Le'Veon Bell's a free agent. Sammy Watkins is a free agent. Alshon Jeffrey's a free agent. There are guys out there that we could potentially get. Number 2, we're probably going to have a couple high draft picks. Not only in the first round, but in the second round and third round. That's something I think people always seem to forget. Is that if we end up with the first overall pick, I'm not saying that I'm hoping we're losing games out here on purpose, but if we end up looking like we're going to finish, if we finish first overall, we're also going to have pick 33. We also have that Seahawks draft pick for Sheldon Richardson. Can't forget about that. Every draft, or almost every round, we're going to have the first pick or the second pick in that round. That is extremely encouraging as a fan and as a head coach or as a GM coming in, because now you have the first pick or second pick in every round. That's extremely valuable. And reason number 3, it's New York City. Who does not want to coach in New York City? Fantastic city. So much comes with the city. I mean, I know it's a lot of pressure, but if you can get the New York Jets to the playoffs, you will be treated like a god in the city. That's just how it is. So my 3 head coach replacements that I think that can maybe turn the Jets around. Head coach number 1 that I want to see the most, Jim Harbaugh, head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. I would love to see Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the New York Jets. Could you imagine Harbaugh coming in, drafting a quarterback, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, whoever you guys like? I mean, Harbaugh is an offensive genius. He was an ex-quarterback, played for the Colts. He understands the quarterback position. They say he's a quarterback guru. I would love him to come in, strict, disciplined, offensive genius. We haven't had an offensive genius in quite some time. He's a proven winner in college and in the pros. He demands respect. He's highly energetic, and he pumps up the locker room. I would love to see Harbaugh, and he's good. I love it how him and the media don't really get along. It seems like the media doesn't really like Harbaugh, and it seems like the media, takes every chance they get to, make fun of the Jets and poke fun at them. So, you know what, Harbaugh, come on board, turn the Jets around. He'll be treated like a god if he can. I mean, realistically, if Jim Harbaugh becomes the head coach of the New York Jets, do you know how insane that would be? I would be extremely excited. It'd probably be one of my best days as a Jet fan. I mean, that would be great. So Jim Harbaugh is number 1 on my list if I'm the New York Jets. I would try to pry him away from Michigan. I know he likes it there. He's good with the kids. He's making a ton of money in a Power 5 thing, competing for a national championship, great at recruiting. He's doing his thing over there at Michigan. But there's that NFL lure that I believe that great coaches want to succeed in the NFL. Not only they want to succeed in college, but they also want to succeed in the pros. That's what I think separates a good coach from a great coach. So Jim Harbaugh is my number 1 option. Number 2, Jon Gruden, the current Monday Night Football broadcaster. But for those of you guys who don't know, he was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Oakland Raiders, and he was actually the youngest head coach to ever win a Super Bowl in the NFL. Another offensive great mind. You look at his offense, that super West Coast, quick passing offense. I think Jon Gruden would be really good with the New York Jets schematically. I think with him everybody watches the Gruden QB camp, but him handpicking a quarterback out of this super talented quarterback class, assuming Hackenberg and Petty don't work out, I believe that would be a match made in heaven. Jon Gruden, everybody, you know, like I just said, everybody watches the Gruden QB camp and how he goes through the tape and, you know, bounces back and forth, you know, pokes fun of the prospects and whatnot. But this time it'd be for real. This time he's actually picking out who he wants to mentor, who he wants to coach, and who he wants to teach the game of football to. And he, you know, I would trust Gruden in a situation like that. I would trust him completely in him picking the quarterback for the quarterback-deprived New York Jets. We've been quarterback-deprived for God knows how long. So I would love Jon Gruden if he became the head coach of the New York Jets. I would prefer Harbaugh, but I like Jon Gruden as that number 2 spot. Now, number 3, it might seem kind of weird because it could be a name that you haven't heard of, but it's Jim Bob Cooter, the current offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. I am in love with Bob Cooter's offensive system. You look at Matt Stafford, he's going to have an unbelievable season. Granted, he does have a lot of weapons, and they have a pretty good defense to get him the ball back. But at the same time, you look at Matt Stafford on the field and just his growth as a quarterback when Bob Cooter got put into that offensive coordinator position. I believe that system. I mean, number one, Bob Cooter is one of the highest, probably the highest offensive highly regarded offensive minds that's still not a head coach. Probably right there next to Sean McVay, but Sean McVay obviously just got his head coaching position with the LA Rams, so obviously he's off the table. But Jim Bob Cooter, I believe, is going to be in that head coach market. But there's going to be some competition, you know. Are the Arizona Cardinals, are they going to part ways with Bruce Arians? Look at the Cincinnati Bengals. Is this Marvin Lewis's last season? There are going to be some coaches on the brink, and they could move in this offseason coming up. Now, I know it's a long ways away, but I just figured I want to get in wanted to dive in a little bit on 3 head coaching positions or 3 head coach candidates that I think the New York Jets would be an awesome fit with. So that's Jim Harbaugh from the Michigan Wolverines, Jon Gruden, who currently works for Monday Night Football on the call, and Jim Bob Cooter, the current offensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions. Because I believe the Lions would love to have Bob Cooter back, but I think Bob Cooter is going to deserve a head coach role. So that's it for the video. Let me know down in the comment section who you want as the New York Jets head coach in the 2018 season. It feels weird saying that. If you're not pleased with Todd Bowles, because like I said in the beginning of the video, there is 15 more games left in the season. There can be a major turnaround for Bowles in this system and this coaching, or not the system, but the coaching staff as a whole. So, a lot of things can change, but right now it's not looking too good. So, life is a Jet fan, but it is what it is. So let me know down in the comment section who you guys want to see as the head coach of the 2018 New York Jets.